But the controversy continues around Wiseman being able to play. It was his second game being played since an NCAA investigation revealed Friday that Wiseman was likely ineligible because Hardaway, who was then a coach of a high school team in Memphis, provided about $11,000 in moving expenses to help Wiseman's family relocate from Nashville to Memphis in the summer of 2016. After that, Anfernee Hardaway became the head coach of Memphis, and Wiseman ended up being on the Tigers roster. So basically, what does this mean? Because there was a court order that said Wiseman could play, but the NCAA still thinks he's likely to be ineligible, and this is the second straight game in which they've played him knowing that he might be ineligible and it might cost them all kinds of things. Here's Jay Billis sort of breaking down what Memphis is doing.
Memphis is taking a stance that no other school has ever taken with regard to really what is a garden variety eligibility issue. Did a player take an extra benefit from a representative of the university's athletic interest? It's pretty simple stuff. And the NCAA has said that they feel that it violates the rules. And as such, a school would hold a player out of competition until the issue is completely resolved.
And that thing is not resolved. So Wiseman, after the game, said, "I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not really saying much. I can't speak on it." But Penny Hardaway was asked specifically about playing Wiseman, and he was nothing if not defiant.
Whose decision is it to have him play ball for Memphis, given the risk that the NCAA is imposing?
Everybody has his back.
But is it your decision to put him out there on the court?
Hey, we all have his back. It's my decision to put him on the court. It's a decision that we've gone with. And obviously, he's done what he has to do to get a court order to be out there on the court himself.
I think Memphis is putting themselves in a pretty precarious spot going forward because, like Jay said, this is not a thing that's going to be difficult for the NCAA to win on their side when they say, hey, what happened here was wrong. Because I get the argument for this from Penny's side of wanting to certainly show, like, kids and other guys as a guy who brought in just the #1 recruiting class. James Wiseman was a big reason why, to say, hey, we're going to have kids back when they come here. We don't think this was connected to Memphis because we're right. When he did it, he was a high school coach. As much as we can look and say, well, maybe he knew then he was going to be Memphis's coach, to say this was done in the name of Memphis is a connection and a leap that I don't think we can make. But it is still, if you removed Penny Hardaway's name and his title from it, and he was just someone who was a donor to Memphis, that automatically makes you just that, a booster of the school. And so if you were to make this a non-famous name, this would still be illegal. It may not be looked into this way, but if it had been found, it would still be something that they could punish.
So what you're saying, if it was someone named Danesville Graypen and did this instead of Anfernee Hardaway, it would still be an issue. And to that point, Jay Billis says Memphis is really playing with fire here.
The court order did not say that Memphis had to play Wiseman. They still could have held him out. And so what this opens up is it opens up Memphis for sanctions going forward under Bylaw 19, which is known as the restitution rule. Theoretically, the NCAA could say, well, you're ineligible for competition in the NCAA tournament this year, and in future years, there could be all other kinds of sanctions that come down. So it's a risk that Memphis is taking to put Wiseman on the floor.
I think it is a risk. It's definitely a risk, but everybody's saying, yeah, screw the NCAA. Don't let them do this. But you may not like the rule.
Correct.
They broke the rule.
Yeah.
This was a breaking of the rule, and now because they're basically, we've used the term thumbing their nose at the NCAA or double birding the NCAA, however you want to do it. This is what they're doing. That they may come down harder now. There's something to vacating wins as opposed to now sanctions against a school. And that's where, if this keeps going, if it goes against Memphis, I think that's what's going to happen. I think the NCAA, to Jay's point, is going to say, you know what? You really tried to pull one over on us here when we kind of had you here. You're going to pay the price right now, and I think that's going to happen.
Listen, respect for him for standing up for his player, but understand what you're putting at risk here going forward.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.